The Niners free agent wish list. Why don't you kick this off? Who do you hope the Niners can get?
Realistically, we have to figure out, one, the cap number, two, what's going on with situations, that are out of our control as far as money and things like that. But there are a few that I've actually, thought about. So I wrote an article talking about AJ Boya from Denver. Right. Look, let me point out the cons first before I tell you what the pros are. Con, injured last year twice. Con, 6-game suspension, which means he'll have 2 games this next year that he'll have to miss because he missed 4. Con, inconsistent play at times. Okay, pro, 29 years old, got cut from an $11 million contract that Denver didn't want to pay because they're cleaning house right now, trying to either make a move or they're just trying to get under the cap number, right? With a 2-game suspension, he'll be able to be over here with no guaranteed money at all. He's very experienced. When I watched this film, I didn't watch a guy who was getting burned over the top. That was not what was happening. So when people tell me that online, I have to say that you didn't watch, okay? What happened with AJ Boya last year was, what he does is he's very safe. He'll back up, he'll allow you to get in front of him, and he wants to make a play at the last second and knock the ball out. This is not AJ Boya from Jacksonville, okay? Also, I want to let you know that. Yes, has his play tapered off? Sure has. But here's what I'm betting on. 1, you can bring in a solid guy who can be across from, hopefully, Jason Verrett, 29 years old, with a pass rush that should be better because, Denver didn't bring him in thinking, oh, we're just bringing in this lockdown guy. They brought him in thinking Bradley Chubb and Von Miller are going to get to the quarterback, and we've got somebody who's solid on the other side. He can still be that guy. And 3, no guaranteed money or maybe an incentivized deal where he wants to prove the narrative wrong, because anytime I tweet about AJ Boya, oh, that man's washed. If I can quote Rich Madrid, watch the tape. He's not washed. So AJ Boya is somebody that I think can be brought in who can be, 1, plug and play, 2, hopefully cheap, and 3, can be a veteran presence for this secondary, right? Bring him in. If you pair him with a pass rush, I think he'll be fine. The injuries that he had aren't so concerning. It was like a shoulder injury or something like that. But when I watched him play, he was in the slot guarding Hunter Henry, Keenan Allen in certain games. So he's flexible. Again, you don't just bring him in and just think that, oh, we're just solving our quarterback woes. No, you bring him in because the pass rush is going to cover up any deficiency he has, and he's still safe. The one time that he got beat over his head for a touchdown was a Mike Williams touchdown in one of Justin Herbert's best games of the year. He literally threw the ball where only his man could get it. AJ Boya had a hand up, and it just went right over his fingertips. I think AJ Boya is a solid find if they can bring him in for little to no money. I think that's a good one. That's a good one to start with.
That's a terrific one to start with. Another cornerback who's around the same age, a little bit bigger, that I've always liked is Xavier Rhodes. I don't know which one will be more expensive, but that's another guy that they could look at and bid on because he really just had a good season last year in Indianapolis, and he has the size and pedigree to match up with someone like DK Metcalf, which is what the Niners. I need someone big. Boya is big as well. I've always liked Rhodes.
Yeah, and that's the other thing, right? So the book on Xavier Rhodes when he left Minnesota was he's washed.
Yeah.
But look what happens when you pair him in a great defense. Again, right. That's the thing, right?
Right.
If you're comparing Xavier Rhodes to Rhodes closed Xavier Rhodes, right, you're going to have a bad time.
Right.
But knowing where he is in his career and where you pair him is
right,
what you should be talking about. So that's a good one as well, too. Another name I'll float out to you, and it was rumored that, well, not rumored, it was kind of talked about during the season if the 49ers were going to be buyers, Ryan Kerrigan. Ryan Kerrigan could come over here and be a fill-in guy, and he'll play with Kyle. He's played with him before. Probably no money at all.
Did Kyle and Mike draft him?
I don't know if they drafted him, but I know he was over there during that time. So
let me see.
You can check it out. So Ryan Kerrigan,
2011, abso-freaking-lutely, yes.
There you go. Ryan Kerrigan can be brought over for literally nothing. The guy wants to compete for a championship. Yeah, the guy wants to compete for a championship. He can come right over and be a rotation guy. I hate to say this. Right. As much as I love Kerry Hyder, Ryan Kerrigan will be much cheaper, and can add that veteran presence over there too as well. So if that's
how many former Washington players has Kyle brought over? I mean, a ton.
Jordan Reed, Trent Williams. It's anytime that you get into anytime that he likes you, you come back. Alfred Morris,
Logan Paulson, Alfred Morris, Logan Paulson, the whole freaking team. So yeah, absolutely, Ryan Kerrigan, step on up.
Yep.
I have more. David Andrews, the center. Corey Linsley, but he's expensive.
He's too expensive.
He's too expensive. David Andrews is even younger. He's been a starter for 5 years for the Patriots. He's a hell of a player. He doesn't miss too much time. I'd be more comfortable going with a vet at center than a rookie because I feel like the center position is so important for the 49ers. you need that experience. Unless you're getting some guy who's really seasoned from college, it's really good. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the I don't want to say lazy, but the one that probably makes the most sense is Alex Mack. That's been out there, right? And Alex Mack has made his thoughts clear about being with Kyle.
Yeah.
And again, not take again. He is, and this will be a 1-year thing. So you can bring in Alex Mack this year, bring your stability in, and still draft your center either for either in this draft or the next year's draft and go ahead with it. But you're absolutely right. The center is vital. When Richburg goes down, what I don't think people understand is so many calls that were missed on the offensive line led to sacks, and that has to do with the center. And remember, Ben Garland wasn't there. It was Grasu for a little while. I really think that they had problems communicating on the line, right? That's what Richburg did.
Brunskill's not a center.
No,
he's not a center.
So the problem with Brunskill is that because he's versatile, it's almost like, plug and play him anywhere. Like he can be solid, but give that man the right guard snaps and let him continue to develop there before you start moving him around like a chess piece where it's not fair to expect the same thing. Ben Garland has to come back too, I think, just to be the guy behind whoever it is that they bring in. That's another person that nobody's really talking about. He was fine. And remember, Richburg tears his patella tender in the middle of the Saints game. The freaking Saints game. That was like a shootout that you'd like. So they dropped Ben Garland in the Thunderdome. And he was fine, he was fine. So, I like Alex Mack. It feels too
a veteran who knew the offense and could make the calls.
Exactly. It feels too like puzzle pieces just matching up, right? So
because he already knows the system. That's pretty good. And again,
Lindsey's better than him, but Lindsey should get paid.
Oh, and will. Yeah.